Hello and welcome back to the DoneDeal YouTube channel. My name is David OC and today we're at the launch of the all-new Renault Arkana. Now, the Arkana combines the practicality of an SUV with the styling that you get on a coupe. And in today's video, we are not only going to be taking it for a first drive, but also looking at the design, discussing the price, and actually seeing how practical it really is. But before we get into it, if you'd like to search for Renaults for sale in Ireland from over 1,000 trusted dealerships nationwide, then hit the link up there. And now let's get into the video. So there are effectively two engine options in the Arkana. The first is a 1.3 litre petrol engine. It's got 140 horsepower and it's actually a mild hybrid. And how the mild hybrid works is it's a very small battery and it's pretty seamless. You don't actually notice it's there, but it kind of improves the stop start and it actually gives about 20 newton meters of torque extra. So what that means is when you pull off, you'll feel a little bit more power, and actually when you put your foot down, because this is the one we're testing here, it is reasonably quick. It does have a good pickup. It's also available in a full-blown hybrid. Now that full-blown hybrid is a 1.2 kilowatt hour battery, so it's not ginormous because it's not a plug-in hybrid. It actually just uses the energy from the car to create its own power, and that's the option that you're probably better off getting if you're doing a lot of around town driving. It's much more efficient in that respect. But both engines, to be fair, are very, very economical. I haven't got enough time to really give this a good test as I've only got it for a half an hour, but it does seem to have a decent range. When I turned it on, it had well over 600 kilometer range, and I don't know how much mileage it's done since it's been filled up. But yeah, that is the two options. Here at the rear, I really like this styling they've done with the lights, and in the boot the good news continues. So depending on which engine you spec, if you get the mild hybrid you get 513 litres. If you go for the full-blown hybrid it's just 408 litres, but it's very practical. You get a false floor here so you can raise and lower that. The seats fold in a 60-40 split, and overall as a boot it is as good as you'd expect from any SUV. Rear space is pretty decent in here, loads of knee room. There's a place to tuck your feet in under the seat in front, and actually for a coupe you do have relatively good headroom. I will say it's probably going to be tight if you're over 6 foot, but if you just have little children who you want to put here, they will fit perfectly, and of course the ISOFIX points are easily accessible too. In the cockpit, when we sit in, it is a lovely place to be. The seats are really comfortable. They're fully adjustable. You can get them in any position you like. They actually kind of remind me of a Volvo a little bit, the way the headrests are. Steering wheel is nice and chunky in a really nice kind of leather material. In front of you here, you have the option for two digital displays. Number one, which we have here, is the 7-inch, but you can also upgrade that to a 10-inch display. And then here again, likewise, you can upgrade this all the way up to a 13.2 inch screen, I believe. This is Apple CarPlay compatible, Android Auto, works really well. On a later review we'll go into a bit more depth, but I do enjoy how they've kept the climate control buttons completely separate. It just means they're easy to access as you're driving along. I do wish, however, there was a volume knob. We are missing that. Two big cup holders here, some storage in there, big door cards, and a glove box. So it kind of ticks the boxes. It is very familiar if you've come from a Renault, and I think they said that 60% of people who've ordered these have actually traded in a Renault. So if that's you, it's going to be a very familiar place. If not, it's a little bit different to something you might see in a German car, but it is very easy to navigate and it's very intuitive as well. So to drive the Arkana, well, first of all, the suspension is one of my favorite parts. Big speed bump there, and it just gobbles it up. And the Arkana, in fact, the whole finish of this car, Renault have really stepped up their game. If it wasn't for the Renault logo, I actually would have guessed it was in a different car. As I said before, it's very intuitive. It's very similar to any other Renault you've maybe driven in the past, and that's a good thing, as this whole interface is brilliant. The gearbox is seamless. There's plenty of poke, as I said earlier. When you put your foot down, really, really good pickup. Nice little noise as well, it's not too loud. And overall, I have to say, it's an absolutely lovely car to drive. It seems to be pretty good in terms of visibility. I've plenty here, big mirrors there. I've got a reversing camera. I will say there is quite a blind spot back there by the B-pillar, but we'll let them away with that because the good looks make up for that. And other features that I've noticed as driving it is actually one really nice thing is it's got a 5-star crash rating, but also as standard you get all of the kind of, I'm going to say, expected safety systems. So you've accident emergency braking, you've got a bit of lane departure warning, all these things come as standard, and then you can spec it up to effectively, I think it's called autonomous driving too, and that is really, really good. I have just found myself back at where I'm supposed to give the car back, but I'm not done yet. What else have I found driving it? I mean, it's so hard to say in such a short drive, but I definitely can imagine sitting here for a long drive. The seats they're really, really comfortable. The engine seems brilliant. I've yet to drive the full-blown hybrid version, but I can only imagine if it's like the Clio, it's pretty decent as well. And overall here, I have to say, it's a lovely car to drive, and definitely worth going down to your local dealership and test driving and seeing if it's the car for you. It really does combine the look of being sporty. I have to say, it looks brilliant, and of course it is practical with the bigger boot, especially if you do go for the mild hybrid version. So as I said in the introduction, this car is a hybrid car from the ground up, and what that means is they've built this to be fully intended to be hybrid. And that's part of a whole movement for Renault. So by 2025, they hope and aspire to have about 14 fully, let's not fully electric, but electrified versions of their cars on the market, which means they'll have hybrids, mild hybrids, and of course, fully electric. So it's part of a movement that not only Renault are doing, but many other manufacturers. And another thing is that coupe style not only looks better, but it actually also increases the aerodynamics. So I think it's roughly by 25%, which means it's more fuel efficient, there's less drag, and that all plays a big toll in reducing the carbon footprint that the cars are putting out. So there you have it. That is a quick look at the all new Renault Arkana. Very enjoyable to drive. And now obviously the big question is prices. Well, prices for the ordinary mild hybrid start at about 28,890, and if you're looking to get into the full hybrid, it's just over 30,000 euros. And then there's 3 different trim levels as well. The top spec will effectively cost you roughly 35,000 euros, and it is a lot of car for the money. They come well equipped, they're very safe, they include a lot of the kind of features that you'd expect on any premium car. So all in all, it's lovely to drive, and hopefully we'll get a longer drive in the near future. But for now, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to search for Renaults for sale in Ireland, hit the link on the top right hand corner of the screen. And until then, we'll see you in the next one.